What's going on YouTube? Josh here checking in, back with another training video. If you guys have been following the channel, you probably know that I've been dealing with an extended course of basically injury recovery from a muscle tear in the front of my hip. This tear was actually diagnosed at the very beginning of June, and it's kind of not really recovered quite right, to the point where at the very end of July I had to get an injection to my hip and started physical therapy. So basically I haven't squatted 3 plates since basically more than 8 weeks ago, and this was my first workout back, squatting 315 beltless for sets of 5. And honestly, I was really happy with how it went. As the sets got progressed, they definitely got a little bit harder, but overall I was definitely really satisfied. I thought my depth was pretty solid, and not too much in the area of form breakdown. So I was really happy with that, especially just because I really haven't had very many solid workouts up to now. Really only the past maybe 2 weeks have I started feeling comfortable again with my squat, and I'm just really happy that I'm finally making some progress on this movement. It was only about maybe 2 weeks ago where I was only squatting 275 for sets of 5, and now I'm at 315. So I'm hoping that I can keep that progress up. I'm realistic in the fact that I know I won't be able to be progressing at that rate, and I'm definitely going to be cautious to make sure that I don't push myself too quickly and really develop any bad habits when it comes to form. So anyway, this was the last set. I did 4 sets of 5 for 315. I decided not to push it with my normal volume of 5x5 in this current training block where I'm kind of just building myself back up. Moved on to Sumo Deadlift, and this is 455. So this was definitely the most volume I've done with 455, basically since I started physical therapy over 8 weeks ago. So I ended up doing 4 sets of 4, and overall I was pretty happy with how this went. My grip is definitely an issue with my deadlift. I think it's more so with the bar that I'm using than it is necessarily my grip strength. This bar is really bad. I had mentioned this before in other videos, but maybe one day I'll have to take a picture and show you guys how thick this knurling is. It just makes your hands raw afterwards. And I'm thinking that maybe the diameter of the bar is just slightly greater than bars I'm used to deadlifting with. So I'm thinking that it kind of sits in my hand kind of funny, which again makes the gripping it a little bit uncomfortable. So this was 455, as I mentioned, beltless, and overall was feeling pretty solid. I thought my form was okay. I wasn't really having too much issues with the knees caving in, and or the hips rising too early. My only concern is I was letting the shoulders get protracted a little bit, where the upper back rounds a bit. It wasn't really too much of an issue, and lockout wasn't really terrible, but I'm definitely cognizant of the fact that as the weights got heavier, the lockouts were a bit harder. So I'm going to be getting back to some direct glute work, which I kind of have strayed away from just because I've been kind of getting in training sessions as best as I can. If you've seen my last video, the topic of that was basically making time when it comes to your training. So I've had to kind of cut out some of the accessory work that I was doing previously, and one of those that I basically cut out was some direct glute work. But I've noticed that I've actually had a more difficult time locking out deadlifts that would have previously been really easy. So anyway, you'll see here this is just some grip work, held it for about 15 seconds there, and moved on to some direct glute work like I mentioned. So this was really the first deadlift workout where I was pushing myself, since starting physical therapy, which by the way, I've recently graduated from physical therapy, so no more of that. Anyways, so just doing some really light glute bridges, sets of 10 with 315. And this was extremely painful because I have a sunburn on my upper back, so every time you push the bar up, you have to put all your weight onto your upper back, and that was quite uncomfortable. So anyway, I followed that up with some ab work. I normally would have done some high bar squatting or front squats, but I was kind of short on time, so I decided to just go with some ab work. I'm only going to show you guys one set each of each exercise that I did for abs, just because it's kind of boring. This is hanging leg raises. I did 5 sets of 10, and you know, you'll see as it gets closer to rep number 10, there's a little bit more momentum used there, but overall I definitely try and minimize any swaying at the bottom and try and really engage those abs. So after that, I followed up with 3 sets of 12 of weighted crunches off of the glute ham raise, and this is a 45-pound kettlebell, and hopefully I'll be able to move up to the next size kettlebell in the coming weeks. But I definitely am a big fan of ab work when it comes to heavy resistance, especially if you plan on lifting anything moderately heavy. So this was at the very end of my workout and I was pretty tired. So what you guys will see here coming up in about maybe 5 seconds is an epic fail where I nearly fell on my face, rather fell on my back right there. There you go. Nearly almost killed myself. So hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to give it a like. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.